Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me today. My name is Chris Belling. I'm the head of strategy, customer and digital technology at GPT. Um, my background is actually in architecture and program delivery, so that might give you some insight into the way I look at OutSystems and the story at GPT. I guess before I get into the story about OutSystems at GPT, it's probably worth just giving you some context. Our technology environment is what we call a best of breed landscape. And so what that means is that we have market-leading applications fulfilling each of our core capability requirements. And this has benefited GPT in giving us a great deal of agility in delivering new solutions, and also being able to manage the life cycle of our applications without having to look at the whole technology environment. Um, what we found though over time, as the trend of digitization and digital increases, I guess what we see is that it doesn't create the best experience for the end users, because the reality of business processes is that they tend to cross different platforms. And so this led us to reconsider our application strategy. Um, and this actually also coincided with us looking at replacing a legacy SAP application, which was built in Personas, which had reached end of life. And so it was around this time that we started doing research into the low-code market and considering what our options were. For us, because we had that best-of-breed technology environment, we didn't feel that Fiori was our best choice. We felt the need to integrate and orchestrate across multiple applications. And so that led us to look for a more of an independent technology solution. And so in doing some research, we found quickly that OutSystems was a market-leading platform through the Gartner research, as well as feedback from other research organizations. And really decided to jump into that. And the reason that we wanted to do that was because we had an opportunity in a project that was in flight. So we set out with a trial, and OutSystems put us in touch with Phoenix, who were able to help us deliver a POC quite quickly. We completed that in 1 week. Now that POC included a mobile application as well as integration to SAP using an SAP connector. Pretty impressive from our point of view that we could deliver that and show that to our stakeholders. In terms of suitability of low code for GPT, we did consider some of the concerns that you might have around building custom software. We felt that low code mitigated some of those risks in an easy ability to support and maintain. And we also considered our own maturity around software development, which is why we were partnering with Phoenix. Okay. After the trial, we delivered our first project with Phoenix, and the app was built in 4 weeks. And this was a use case example where we were orchestrating and integrating across multiple platforms. So the application took a project request out of Anaplan, our forecasting tool. It sent it to an approver who could action that quickly. And the business outcome for us was that we were commencing our projects, reducing the time frame from 3 days to half an hour. It's a fairly simple use case to start off with. I've got a few more which I'll come to next. Just to give you an understanding of how OutSystems fits into our architecture, we've, as I've described earlier, we have our best of breed landscape of applications. That's represented in the bottom layer of cylinders. What we have also invested in over the last few years is what we call our digital business platform environment, which is the API enablement of our applications and an orchestration layer, including AWS and microservices. So, and that strategy came before our OutSystems strategy. So what we were missing was that unified, consistent experience for our end users. And so the use of OutSystems at GPT is very deliberate in the presentation user experience layer for us. It enables us to deliver applications that have consistent experience for our end users, and that covers 3 kind of user areas. So our employees, our customers, and our suppliers. lastly, just some further use cases at GPT and really some examples of where you might find benefits in using OutSystems. So the first one is being able to solve problems fast. Last year, as we went into lockdown, our real estate industry was impacted by having to offer relief to our tenants. This was legislated, so our business had to respond very quickly and had initially set out to do this manually. We could see a lot of issues with that in the technology team. So we came to the table and offered a solution to enable negotiation as well as straight through processing of any changes to rent. The second tile in there is it's referring to iBuy2. That's the personas replacement application. So this is very heavily integrated with SAP and is used for purchase orders and service receipting in accounts payable. And the business benefit here was an experience one for our employees. So our employees were very happy with the new application. And it basically made their lives easier, removing roadblocks from their daily work. And then lastly, we do have productivity benefits as well. So I've already spoken about the CapEx application, but the one which is referred to there as Condo, that's a front end for our billing system. So the billing's done in SAP. Previously, we used to have a manual process to review the billing for our tenants, and that's now been presented in an application that enables our building managers to very quickly look at that and approve that, reducing the time frame for that from days down to hours. So they're the examples that we've seen so far, and we see obviously further examples. We've mostly focused on employees so far, but we are certainly looking at strategy around our customer as well. So thank you very much. Thanks, Hans.
No, thank you, Chris. It's a great example. So before going to the next case, which I want to share with you, is there any questions from the audience to Chris about this particular case? Use the chat or indicate that you would like to have a follow-up question here. Feel free to do so. Whilst we're waiting for that, Chris, just one question. So one of the claims of the use of OutSystems as a platform and really industrializing it is that it increases productivity. Can you reflect a bit on your experience in that space?
Yeah. So from a developer point of view, anecdotally, I understand it does improve productivity in the development process. What we've actually observed, GPT, is more on the end user productivity side. So where you can enable a process to become self-service through a digital solution, we're seeing productivity benefits that I mean, we'll often look at automation as a productivity style solution. If we add self-service on top of that, we see our productivity gains double.
Yeah, and that is what, to a degree, the platform enables you to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't see any additional questions so far. So let me just take
there was
you to
one here from Arpit. So the question was, how easy was integration? That's a great question, because I've got answers that range from very easy to quite difficult. And if you're in a position where you can use a connector, then you're in luck, because that's going to be a very quick experience for you. Where we found it to be more challenging is if you're developing APIs on your applications. So you have to take you have to factor in that extra effort.
Yeah, that's a good point. The platform comes with, if I remember correctly, 2,000 connectors, but definitely there is instances, and since there's different companies represented with different legacy environments, it can be challenging if you have to build them specifically for your needs. But in the SAP space, that is definitely not the case. So thanks for that. Let me just take you to the next case, shortly presenting